We're coming up to Chicago again next week.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
And yeah, it's Wednesday. Happy hump day. And we're just going to see what markets are going to do today. Everything is basically waiting to see if it needs to backtest lower levels or if things are ready to continue higher. I think it's just stuck in limbo right now.
Limbo. How low can you go? Hopefully not much lower because we already had all that. Well, there's a bunch of requests. We kind of ignored them yesterday morning and then ignored them last night. So let's just do requests today. Go ahead, Matt. Enter Entre Nous with the indices.
Yeah, so nothing really is changing here. We can put on the Ichimoku for the conversion baseline on the daily chart for the SPY, and it's really still trying to ride that baseline as support. So we're going to continue to watch that. That is at 627.44, and then we have all that resistance above still. Maybe even that conversion line is going to be some resistance at 629, but 648 still is the range. But and all in all, since it broke out, it never really back tested 613. So we got to keep that in the bottom of our minds because there is confluence right there of the cloud and that 613 fib as well. So could go a little bit lower before higher. Got to prepare for that. QQQ, same situation. It's still holding the baseline as support, 559.65, but it might need to go a little bit lower down towards that 540 still before continuing higher because the cloud is also down there as well. Next resistance, 578.46. IWM is actually holding very well now, back above the 702, the 219.87, or 219.87, and we can see that the 226.80 is up top. And can he just keep building a base and go up there and higher? I think that is a definite possibility that this 219.87 can stabilize because the baseline and conversion line is right below it. So it does look a little bit stronger than the QQQ and the SPY at the moment for that potential to continue that journey higher. And I'll just head over to Tesla here. I just wanted to show this chart real quick that basically price is in, there's a buy order block here. It's still above the 786. That's the 306.93. And if you go to linear scale, it's still in between the 702 and the 618.295. So there's really no change at all. It looks like it's just going to stay range bound for some time until ready to go higher. And Bitcoin here, we can see that it is basically stuck in between the arcs now, and the bottom of that arc is still around 109, 110. So we'll see if it needs to do a back test of that first before it can break back above this top arc tracker.
All right, I have nothing to add to the indices. I'm just going to go right into the requests here. I'm going to start off with this interesting AMTFF. I'm charting it as we speak. 382.236, 1236, 764, 2236. And obviously, I just need to change this to, not that one, this one right here. That's 236. All right, there we go. So this is what I kind of see for this. Let's go back to the first thing I do is nowadays with charts is I go right to log scale and just look at the whole chart. And Ameritrust Financial Technologies, opened here, went down here. It hit an all-time high of $1.24, and then went all the way down to almost nothing. Since then, it recovered to about 20, almost 19 cents here, almost 20 cents, back to 2 cents. And, so I do have 5 waves that it could possibly do, kind of like 9 cents, 6 cents, to 23 again, to 15, to as high as 41 cents. And that kind of gets it back over the linear scale, 0.298. But more importantly, the log scale, it gets it back all the way up to the 786. It could get rejected off that 786. So look at it 33 cents. But I mean, you get a long way to go. The MCDX Plus says that it is getting bought up here on the weekly chart. So yeah, there's potential here. It's a penny stock. All right. From here, I'm going to go straight into coin. Matt showed you his coin charts many times over the last 24 hours. What do I have to contribute with coin? It looks like I redid the chart. You know what? I had a better coin chart rate over, no, this one. I did this last night during the show. I said, look, or yesterday, this is all the coin that you need to know about. Logarithmic. That's six. Let's do 16-hour chart. And you can see the whole thing. Yep, there's the dinosaur. And I love with my 16. Oh, I turned off the thing. Anyway, yeah, it kind of looks like on the 16-hour chart, it touched my moving average 75 here for support. It kind of, in fact, it broke down to get there. I was in a hurry to retest this level back here. And we talked about this on the show last night. You got your cup, your handle, another handle, and this handle might get another little handle before it finally does break out over its previous all-time high of 429.54. And when it does, it's going to want to go to at least the 1272, maybe the 141, and ultimately the 1618 before it has to retest all this to go to the 2618. So from our prices right now, it's 620% higher if to do this whole cycle up to the test of the 1618. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. I guess most people want to see it on a shorter time scale though. So on the 1 hour chart, again, like I said, it jumped down. It broke. It did a gap. It gapped down. That's what the word I'm looking for. It gapped up to test up here, and it's gapping down to test support. Yeah, it's just going. It's running through the things really fast. At worst, it could come down to this log scale 786 at 245.66. We're at 298 right now, but at best, like I said, on my linear scale chart on the 16-hour, it's just kind of coming down to test the moving average 75 here, which is right about 290.11. Okay, MicroStrategy. What do I have to contribute? Looks like I redid this one as well. Same kind of deal. On log scale, it's pretty simple to go back to, say, like a weekly chart. Here's the dinosaur. Oh, okay, wait. I decided to do it from here to there for some reason. You know what? I'm going to throw it back to you, Matt. I'm going to work on my MicroStrategy redraw here.
Yeah, let's go take a look at Galaxy here. So it's been a hot topic recently. So here's Galaxy, and there's the 886. That is at, what is that, 2777 or something? I don't know. Yeah, 2777. Right there, it still is kind of below it, right? It's not being able to break out above that yet. It did try 1 week, but then last week it did close below. Now we're also back below it still. So we're kind of in a zone where it's trying to break back above, but it's just failing right now. So we're going to keep paying attention to that 2777. The conversion line is below at around 2529. Still has not really touched that, so that is also a possibility. But I think it's just trying to break resistance, so it could take some time to do that. So patience is needed for Galaxy right there. I will look at Dave because people were talking about it last night, and this morning they reported earnings as well. But it doesn't change anything. The earnings from the all-time high to the all-time low down here, this is the 786 right down here. Right, and that's 179, and then we have 179.90, and then we have the conversion line right there at 234.61, and we also have the 886 here at 287.62. So this is the range really, and it's been in that whole range for a couple of months now since it broke out. It got rejected at the 886, almost went down to the 179 to touch the 786. So this is basically the range until it's ready to break out. It is a wide range. That's because this stock has been pretty volatile since the all-time high. And yeah, we went all the way back down to the $4 and now back up to $200. So it's a very, very crazy looking stock. But if you're going to be bullish on this for future potential, then it needs to stay above the 786 and it needs to break above the 287. So that's the range we're in. And it can't get more bullish until the 886 is broken. And I want to do AMD since they also reported earnings too. And I have this black line drawn there simply for the fact it was the 2021 top back there. And that's exactly where price is going back pre-market right now. And also the cloud is there too. So if it does choose to go back down there, then that would be that'd be okay. And actually, if we do some fibs from right here as well, from the top to the bottom, we can see that that also matches that. And if it did need to go a little bit lower, we could just see that the conversion line is down there at 148, and then the 886 is also at 145. So we know our levels, right? If we can't hold the 164, there's a lot of support below that I could just quickly go to attack it, hit it as support before it wants to bounce and go back higher. So it's a very, very bullish chart. Had a very explosive V bottom recovery. And now this could be a giant little cup. And now maybe we're going to start to work on a handle here. So I'll be looking for 164 to try to hold. If not, we got a lot of support below that could be a potential to hit before continuing that journey higher. And I think when we look at all the moving averages, they're finally all sloping upwards as well again too. So this is a bullish trend, right? Just all these back tests, no matter how deep it goes, is going to be bullish for AMD. All right, go ahead, tracker.
All right, let's see. I'm just adding this to here. Yeah, so here's my MicroStrategy chart, sort of redrawn here for your viewing pleasure. From its initial high of 330, it's not an initial high, it was like down here at 1183, went up to 333, down to 42 cents, if you can believe it. And then now, it doesn't look familiar here, but as soon as you go back to linear scale, that's like, oh yeah, okay, this is the MicroStrategy that we know. And I mean, but going to log scale, you can see it already palantired in sort of. It's this should be a palantiring candidate, really. It's the Bollinger Band activity that sort of doesn't make it exactly like all the other ones, I think. But it's finished its cup handle, and then that got a cup and handle, and then that's now getting another handle. But this just really is. It's already broken out above its previous all-time high, and it's working its way. Again, if it just gets to the 1168 and gets rejected, that is still from where price is now 178% higher. To the 1272, it's 450% higher. To the 141 on log scale, it's 1,342% higher. And to the 1618 to finish this cycle, that's $20,000 for MicroStrategy shares, 5,300% higher, roughly. Now go back to linear scale. Let's see. On linear scale, I've got these extensions on the right. And these are the same extensions I've had ever since MicroStrategy, in 2020, no, it was 24. April 7th did give it a new lower low, higher low. But yeah, from here, it should, if bullish, it's already kind of done a little bit more than the 382, and it's kind of done the 236 already. In fact, right here, actually. Wait, oh gosh darn it, we're doing it again. I have to pull this out a little bit farther. It did do the 382, 138. Oh, sorry. 382 right here, 236. So now it could be heading for the 1236, back to the 764, and then the 2236. And that is the price action I'm looking for. And so that still gets us to 1,444 for MicroStrategy. So we're from prices right now. You know, the top of wave 3 is about 140% higher. Top of this wave 5 is about 283% higher. It corrects back to somewhere in the 900s or so, and then on up to go higher into the log scale. So, you know, MicroStrategy, I like this one still as well. I just wanted to show you this XRP chart I was kind of working on. I spent a lot of time on this yesterday, on this Gann chart, and I really kind of, well, yeah. Is this the one? Kind of, yeah, this one. I'm looking forward to see 435 next at some point here. Then it could test as low as 366 before going to like $7. And then it'll test back a little bit lower before it gets to like $9, which would be kind of cool. I'm not going to hang out for that long. I'm going to take most of my XRP out near 7, though I'm kind of tempted to do 435 because there's a bunch of other stuff I want to do with that cash. Anyway, that's about me. That's not about you. Coin, MicroStrategy, Galaxy. Did you do SoFi already, Matt?
Not yet.
Wait, I don't want SoFi in this chart. I want SoFi in this chart. Instead of building SoFi from scratch, put SoFi on this one. SoFi, again, it kind of looks like you look at the whole history overall, and it's just working its way back to its previous all-time high, all-time low, uh, big cup, big cup, and it's kind of like this is a cup back to here, and this is the handle. But now this is the cup back to here, and this is the handle. And eventually we'll get back to 28 to 60, 20, 28, 26 was the previous all-time high. And you'll see it cup right there, handle under it, then get over it, maybe to 32.30, back test to 28, 26. And then we can do some fun price exploration into like the 38s and the 61s and all that. So SoFi should be another Palantiring candidate. Okay, back to you, Matt.
Yeah, let's get back to some of the requests. And I see AMD a money destroyer again. I don't understand that comment because it had a huge run up. So correcting a little bit is perfectly healthy. So it's not destroying anybody's money unless you bought the top. Then that's the case.
That's
but
a bit minor.
Yeah, I know. I already did AMD.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just saw the comment. Yeah.
That's not AMD.
But yeah, BM&R. I'm just going to tell you the ranges because it's a super volatile stock. And if you're going to be in this kind of a stock, then you got to understand that it's now back below the 41.18. And because it's back below that, anything goes, even back down to $20. So if you're going to be in this, you got to understand the volatility can be there. The 20-week moving average is also at 24.90. So below below support, which is now resistance. So if it can't break above, it might go lower. So we got to expect this range, maybe $20 to $41 could be that range for this. Archer Aviation, I have this one too, and it's still holding the ARC as support. Went back down again to test the baseline, and I still think it's just going to be range bound in between maybe the $11 range and the $9 range. I think it's just going to stay in this little wedge formation for some time, maybe even get closer to the cloud, because since it broke out in November of last year, it's never touched the cloud. So I think it still needs more consolidation ahead before it can really try to break up higher. So nothing really exciting there. SMCI, we can see that price is really trying to go back and backtest some weekly levels here. And this is pre-market stuff. And the 100-week moving average is at 50.40. The baseline's at 47.02. The 50-week moving average that's actually starting to flatten out is down there at 39.84. So if we're looking for backtest possibilities, it's probably anywhere inside this cloud, right? We broke into the cloud, got pretty close to the top of the cloud. Now it's time to go towards the bottom of the cloud to backtest levels. So anywhere from current price, maybe even down to the $40 zone is acceptable before trying to break out of the cloud and get more bullish. So nice recovery from the bottom here, but it's time to cool off a little bit and consolidate. So I think around current price to $40 is what I'm looking at for this chart. And Tracker, back to you.
All right, great. I've got AMD. My AMD chart here did predict that the 61.8% would be resistance at 182.75. And what do we get? We got a high of 185.29. So I was like off by $3. So it ran a little hotter. But next for the flavor of 2025, maybe a 618 back to the 382. And it kind of agrees with my moving average 75 on the 16-hour chart right here, which is, again, I think it's just magical because it follows the Ichimoku so well. And there's just something about, I liked the 4-hour, I like the 8-hour better. And the 16-hour it's twice as good as the 8-hour was. So 16-hour charts, I just love them. And you can try them too. Moving average 75 coming up. Maybe price will hit it right here at 141.98. Remember, I talked about 142 being resistance for the longest time. And now it's flipping it to support. And then from there, it can run on up to the 1382 next at 314.71. Unless, again, like I told you, in 2025, I've been seeing the 618382, but I haven't gotten to see where it lands. It doesn't go to the 1382 or the 1236 yet. So, I mean, the the linear scale log retracements kind of tell me it really kind of wants just under 300. So maybe we get, maybe something in between the two, really. Okay, AMD. It just look for it to run to test back about 15% lower, and then we should get a run about 120% higher, 120 to 103% higher. Okay, that's AMD. And then I wanted to show you some of this Dave chart. This is what I was talking about with these cup and handles again. This is log scale from the all-time high to the all-time low. And I just wanted to move this line around and show you. See how it's clearly with this dashed line here, you can see the cup and the handle. And then what happens after that is then it goes, and then this becomes the cup, and it gets this little handle here, and then it goes up a little higher, and now all of this is a cup, and this is your handle. See, it just keeps doing the same formation over and over again. And this is not quite the final boss. This is just another giant cup, a teeny little handle. The final boss is when it finally does this one, all the way up here at 491. And it's like, it'll put a toe over, I'll bet. The first time, it'll just say, oh, I'm going to go here later. But first, I'm going to run everyone out of the market again and run back down to like 889. So if you're like, well, no, it's not going to go that deep. It'd probably do like 491 back to 395 or so, and then break out. So anyway, that's just the kind of thing that I'm just trying to teach you guys to look for these things. Cup and handle, the new cup and handle, the new cup and handle, new cup and handle. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that. Requestees, AMD, BMNR. All right, Matt just did all those. We did AMD, SMCI, Matt did that. Oh, let me do SBET. All right, let me do SBET on this chart where actually I already have a chart drawn up. All right, SBET in, well, let's look at the log scale here real quick. So on log scale, 16-hour chart, you can see it did come down to touch the log scale, moving average 75 on the 16-hour chart right there. And that was support so far. And I'd like to just see it turn. So, and you see, even more importantly, not only did it hit the moving average 75 right there, it also touched the 50% point, the halfway point between $2.26, which was this touch right here, and the high hit after that of 124.12. So we're going from here to here, and now we're back testing through here, and it upheld the contentious 298 right here, and then got over the 382, stuck under it, got all the way up to the 702, not quite to the 786, but back to the 50%. As long as we're on this side, the upper side of this 50% retracement log fib, we're in the good zone. This is the good zone where it starts to build the cups and the handles and the cups and the handles. So yeah, I like SBET from here. It was, hard to hold through all this, but just be patient. Again, if you believe in Bitcoin going to remember, everyone is talking about Bitcoin to 1 million. I'm telling you, look beyond that. Bitcoin will go over 1 million. It'll just pass it. And so the question is like, how much farther will it go till it's like the end of Bitcoin and we have something else to replace it? I don't know. But just going beyond 1 million takes things like SBET and DFDV and all these other Me Too MicroStrategies, could really succeed. So, it's just when things start to test supports way down here, people are like, oh no, it's all going to fail. My life's over. What have I done with my finances? But then it gets up here like, woohoo, I'm a genius. I'm going to be rich. Just hang, if you felt terrible the last few weeks, just wait a few more weeks and you're going to feel like a genius again. That's all I have to say about that. Chris, I'm going to throw it back to Matt, so I won't be greedy with the time. And
yeah, let's go take a look at Oscar. Oscar looks like it's F'd right now. Well, nothing has changed. And if you look at this chart, you can see nothing has changed. I have a black line that I drew right here, and that's the breakout since it had in January of 2024. Guess what? Back test, 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 back. You get the picture. Is basically just stabilizing along that line, and that's where price is at pre-market now. And even that liquidity grab down towards the 618 is still possible as well, which is 1225 as well. So I think what we're just seeing here is a long-term consolidation for over a year and a half of just trying to find a new base after breaking out massively since 2023. And I know people don't realize that it was $2 back a long time ago, but from $2 to $20 is a big move, right? So sometimes,
AMD was once $2.
yeah. And you sold.
I sold it.
But yeah, after a huge move, you can expect a long time consolidation sideways. So this is why sometimes chasing hype is not worth it. You can just be patient with it, right? If you, and I am still bullish on this chart because nothing is broken. Nothing is broken at all. It's just a long-term consolidation, trying to hold this 618 fib, trying to hold that $13 zone. And that's exactly what it's still doing pre-market. So there's no change with this chart at all. It still looks fine. Just needs more time. Crux, we can look at this one. This one has been stuck under some resistance for a long time. And this is kind of a different story because this really broke below a lot of support and never was able to really reclaim it for a long time. So ever since October of last year, it basically did the opposite of what Oscar did, right? It flipped it to resistance instead of flipping it to support. And this is resistance, right? So we can see that Crux right here at 108.38. That's that 618 fib. Can't really get above it. It's spent a little bit of time above it, but the majority of the time over the past year has been below it. So we're going to just keep looking at sideways price action, maybe even back to the 92.05. And to me, it's just nothing exciting at all. It's just range bound, trying to maybe establish a base on top of that 92 before ready to attempt to continue the journey higher. But there's really nothing exciting until it can really get back above this 108 level for Crocs. And Iron, I'll do that one last. And Iron's a very nice chart, right? It went back down to test the conversion line there at 1553. The 1935 is right there as resistance, and that's our range, right? That's the current range. We even back tested the arc there that I said was possible a few weeks ago. Breakout back test completed, and now we're probably going to just stay in this range until it's ready to break the 1935. So it's weeks away, months away, however long away until it really wants to challenge the all-time highs. But breaking this arc is a huge deal. Breaking above that 786 is a big deal. So be patient because once it breaks the 886, it will probably go to the 28s, 30s, maybe 40s above. Very, very nice looking chart tracker.
All right, I've got CRISPR Therapeutics AG here. And, just starting off the bat, when you pull up this chart in auto, and all you have to do is just take an arrow and go from here. And look, it goes up and to the right. That's a bullish chart. That's basically all you need about CRISPR right off the bat. All it's done is make higher highs and higher lows all the way up to here. Then it made lower highs and lower lows for a little while. But, this high is still higher than, no, not that one, this one right here. It did a bunch of big consolidation here. So let me just put this back. So here's from the all-time low to the all-time high. And it went, this is log scale fibs, log scale chart. Went back to the almost the 298, but it got back over the 382 and flipped it to support. Ran up to resistance at the 618, which is pretty good because now it can say that the 50% support. And again, as long as we're in the upper half, we're on this side of the 50% level, then we're in the good place. This is where it starts testing resistances more than test supports. We're done testing supports. Now we can go back to testing resistances. And, eventually this should, again, cup, let's see, it needs a cup and handle here. And then that becomes the cup. And then this becomes the handle. And that becomes the cup. And you get the idea. Well, from where price is right now, just to get back to the all-time high, it's 292% higher. So you can kind of see why Kathy Woods and a bunch of other smart people like the stock. If you have a bunch of money and you don't care about how long it takes, this is a great stock to invest in. And if you do care about the time, if you got patience, it's a great stock to invest in. And if you're impatient, you're in the wrong game. Stocks it requires a lot more patience than you would think. You can get rich quick with one lucky guess, and then the rest of the time just lose your money if you just keep trying to guess and recapture that luck. Otherwise, it's a waiting patience game. I wanted to show. Oh, Zeta. I bet you guys want to hear about Zeta because it says here in pre-market it's up 14.6% from yesterday. Here it is on log scale again. Again, it goes up and to the right. It's a bullish stock. It's already done an Adam and Eve right here and then ran all the way up past the 1764 on the log scale and then said, you know what, let's go back and retest all the way back to this contentious 786. It never quite touched it, but that's fine. It doesn't have to. That was a pretty deep run back. It kind of, I kind of want to play with this chart actually. I want to move this to the body of this candle and to the body of this candle. And now it looks like almost maybe to this top here. You can, I mean, this is where Kat says, look out because you're really just kind of trying to make the thing fit your narrative. All right, I won't do that. But sometimes you can kind of play with these and you get the lines to touch the lines if you wanted to see it touch. Like, what if I just did this? Oh, I like that already. Right? Like it just had some previous high you couldn't imagine and it went too low. And anyway, sorry, sidetracked. So yeah, percentage wise, where price is right now, 1587. Just to get back to that previous wick that we had, or maybe the 1861. That's 18%, 8.5% higher. To the 141 to reclaim it, it's 40% higher. To go back to that previous all-time high, it's 143% higher. And probably what it'll do is we could change this look, put this over here now. And so now we're going from the all-time low to the all-time high and just say, oh, it went back and retested the halfway point, turned it to support, and now it's firming back up the numbers again. And one day it's going to want to see the 141 at 96.33. That's 500% higher. And then the 1618, like the whole cycle, it'll spend its life, this part of its life cycle as a caterpillar from 853% higher to get to the 1618. And then it kind of like does all this for a while until it can become a butterfly. And then one day it'll be doing the 1618 to the 2618. Right. So, but that's a whole other, that might be like a decade away. But that could be a great decade for it. That's 8,000% higher from our prices. Yeah, 8,700% higher from the prices now. It's all about patience. Okay, back to you, Matt.
Yeah, I'll just do a couple more here from the list. And Rivian, they had I think earnings as well. So on the high time frame, there's really not too much of a change. Actually, I made a post earlier how it's basically just holding this trend line right here. If you just look at that pre-market, it's right down there with that trend line. So it's still higher low, right? It's still higher low. There's really nothing broken on this chart. It's just not ready to break out above any kind of resistance yet. So this just means more time. So yeah, let's just keep watching this 1160, 1150, 1140 zone to see if that can hold. And that'll just maintain that trend line that I just drew. So nothing too exciting, nothing too bearish. It's just the same formation that it has been in since really April of this year. And I did XRP last night. Do I see one more flush below 272 to finish the micro fifth wave? I mean, with volatility, anything is possible. But what I'm really expecting for XRP is just to be range bound until it wants to break this 310, right? And the conversion line already was hit, 278. It's not necessary to go back down there. It can, right? The baseline is at 263. It's not necessary to go back down there, but it can, right? So yeah, that could happen, going back down there before breaking out. But it's something that is bullish, right? It did spend a lot of time below the conversion baseline, but now we broke out, we back tested it. So it's just a matter of time, in my opinion, before it's ready to break out to the upside one more time. So it's a bullish chart. And I think just people need to have patience. And the last question I see for me is, do I care about head and shoulders? I mean, everything's a head and shoulders until it's not. Everything's a double top until it's not. You just have to follow the momentum, really, not really just the pattern formation, because they're going to be there until they're not, right? That's just how trading works. It's just you got to allow time to pass to follow that momentum to see which direction things are going to go. And Tracker, just take us out.
All right, for red 2122, I pulled up Frog USD crypto, and I can just tell you with one look, the Ichimoku tells me this is a terrible crypto. Just don't do it. Don't do this one. Lifetime downtrend. Okay, and then I want to show you something cool. I was looking around. This is the XRP chart. No, this is the XRP chart I wanted to show you guys. I spent a lot of time on yesterday, and what I did was I cloned this price action right here, and I grabbed it and then I squeezed it. Um, let's see. Let's see if I can whoops. Let's see if I can recreate the whole thing here. And I squeezed it and I kind of put it right here. And I said, this part looks a lot like that part right there. It looks an awful lot like it. Right? Kind of like that. So it's like this blue part looks a lot like the darker part underneath it. Let me just get back to the one I had. That's the one I was happy with. Yeah, it's almost the same one. And so it kind of looks like it does want to it can't exactly do this move like it did before, but it's trying really hard. So anyway, that's it. We're very close to XRP doing the thing. We're just a little more time, I guess. And that's it. 9:06. Yes, let's see. Monday, I predicted it would be a recovery day. It was. Tuesday was a reaction to the recovery day, which means a lot of things that went up on Monday went down. Today should be a reaction to yesterday, so I think we'll have a greener day today. That's pretty much what I've got to say there. I'm not trading stuff until I see something really like break out and just make a move, like just way outside of what it could do, and then that thing I'll sell a little bit, and then DCA into the other things that are laggards. That's my trading strategy for swing trading. All right. Thanks, guys, so much it was an amazing show last night. Thanks, Matt. I had fun with you and Pat, and we're going to be back again tomorrow. Will be Thursday.
Yeah. See you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Good luck, everybody.
Good luck. Bye.